Hi class, this is my video for Keegan and talking about college students and learning, and I think this reading kind of showed me and gave reason to why Brother Compton has spent so much time in class talking about being a teacher in our videos and really I guess moving towards this fourth level of consciousness. And though he never said that in the class discussions before, I think he would now as we move into this reading by Keegan. So anyway, Keegan talks a lot about the college student, but he talks about not just any college student, but the concept of people at higher education, because college student in a sense kind of makes it seem like a young adolescent, but college student goes into adults. So anyway, Keegan says that the triumph of the third order is its capacity to construct the abstracted forms of generalization, hypothesis, value, ideal. The third order can reflect upon the world and honor its own subjectivity, but it cannot evaluate or relate to its reflections or its subjectivity. It has no eternal procedure for subjecting its inferences to systematic evaluation or critique, nor can it organize its inferences into a more complex whole or formulation, or create a complex whole that will itself generate inferences. So just by reading that definition, we can kind of see what the fourth level of consciousness is, and we can compare and contrast the two. Because he says to do so for this response. And so it says that the third order has no internal procedure for subjecting its inferences to evaluation or critique, and it can't make these inferences into a more complex whole. But so this statement alone would infer that in the fourth order you could make inferences and organize them into complex wholes and formulations, and that there is a procedure for inferences to systematic evaluation. So I kind of feel like by saying that I'm a fourth order type student means that I'm still in the third order. I kind of feel like that transition isn't as black and white as we might think it could be, but Keegan talks a lot about this oh my gosh, the word is just going to leave my self-directed. He talks about being self-directed and how students, could write a paper and could write because what they know the professor wants to hear, or they can write in more of a fourth level consciousness and not be had by this paper and really express their views and move into this idea of like what we talked about, being able to formulate their own ideas and evaluate and critique and make inferences without a set procedure for that. And I guess if we're supposed to do this in accordance to ourselves, it says to evaluate yourself in this context. What do you see yourself in? I think at times I'm very third level. I don't, I think a good example of that is before I sat down to do this reading in this video, I was on Facebook and I was just wasting time, not very good self-direction. But I think when I think of school, I think of my IPB 454 class and how it was completely self-directed. I picked a project, I executed it, I had to go to class, I made a syllabus for myself, I held myself accountable, and it was all self-direction. I just had to go to class. And, I've heard a lot of stories from that, students who did that same thing of where they kind of went against the system, kicked against the pricks, and really great things happen. And I think this idea of kind of fourth level consciousness is kind of to be a mover and a shaker, to switch things up, to go against the system, to really be able to think outside the box and create new solutions and except that they're, you can't sit down and just create new solutions like that. That's a process. And I think as a student, like I said, there are times where I'm not, but I think as an ICS student, we're specifically trained to be kind of critical thinkers and self-directed, and the theories that we learn and the things we study really push us to analyze without set formulas. And these set formulas, I kind of begin to wonder, what are they? Because we are all acting under different set formulas. So what are the set formulas? We all have our own. I can't even think of the word that Keegan uses. All like the cultures that we're in have our own like curriculums. So what are the curriculums for this, as a student from the mainland compared to a student from mainland China? What are the curriculums must be different, so the third and fourth level of consciousness must be different too. And I think that is kind of where I disagree with Keegan, that he makes it seem so compartmental, these ideas of third and fourth level, and I think that they're so vast. Like I said, sometimes I'm very self-directed. I'll go against what a teacher's saying. I'll even go against what a teacher's saying now. I think I can't stand Keegan, and I couldn't give all my reasons why, but I'm at 6:30, so I hope this works.